What's she doing now, Mrs. Buyer? Well, Fluffy Puffy, we're going to read this book called That's a Pair, What's a Dozen? And then we're going to have a challenge for all the boys and girls to go out and find pairs of things and dozens of things in their day today. Oh, that sounds like fun, Mrs. Buyer. It will be fun, Fluffy Bear. So, what do you see on the cover of the story? The title is That's a Pair, What's a Dozen? By Stephen R. Swinburne. Let me see, Mrs. Buyer. I see there's boys and girls, and there's cows. Should we count them? How many cows do you see, puppy? There's 1, 2. There's 2 cows, Mrs. Buyer. There are 2 cows, puppy. Fluffy Puppy can count the boys and girls. Okay, I'm going to count 1, 2. You know, Fluffy Puppy, it's best if we always count from the left. If we start to develop habits when we're counting and count from the left, then we kind of get in the habit of, like, you know how, like, just like you read a story, Mrs. Buyer, you start over here? Yeah, Fluffy, exactly, just like you read a story. So, will you count the boys and girls starting over here? Okay, Mrs. Buyer, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's right, Fluffy Puffy. There are 12. There's 12 boys and girls. Do you think there's a pair of cows and a dozen children? Do you think they have 2 cows because 2 makes a pair, and a dozen, 12 boys and girls because we're going to read about a pair and a dozen? Mrs. Buyer, you are so smart thinking of that. Well, puppy, I've had some good teachers over the years, and I've read a lot of books. Okay, let's find out. Okay, Mrs. Buyer. Everything starts with 1. So, how many balloons do you see in the picture, Fluffy Fluffy Puppy? There's 1 balloon. And what else do you see? There's 1, what's that called again? Not a chicken, a rooster. There's 1 rooster. What's 1 in that picture, Mrs. Buyer? What is that? I think they're looking at the 1 moon, Fluffy Puffy, 1 moon. Oh, 1 moon. And then over here, 1 dog. There's 1 dog, just like me, Mrs. Buyer. Yeah, there is. Now, Fluffy Puffy, remember, we're going to read from left to right and top to bottom. So we're going to start over here with the 1 balloon, and then go to the rooster, and then go over here to the dog, and then to the moon when we read our story. Did you want me to read it again, Mrs. Buyer? Okay. Will you read 1 balloon? 1 balloon. 1 rooster. 1 dog. 1 moon. Oh, good job, Fluffy Puffy. Everything starts with 1. A single ball is 1 ball. If you are first in line, you are before all the others. I don't really like to be first, Mrs. Buyer. When you pick me to be line leader, I get kind of scared. I know, Fluffy Puffy, but it's good for you to do your job, but you don't have to be first if you don't want to be first. The prefix uni means 1 or single. A unicycle is a bike with 1 wheel. Look at the girl, Fluffy Puffy. She's right. A unicycle, 1 wheel, unicycle. When you have 2 of something, you have a pair. Fluffy Puffy, can you read this to us, starting on the top left and going down and point at the animals? Let's see, Mrs. Buyer. Yeah, there's 2 horses. There's 2 boots. What are those, Mrs. Byer? You know, Fluffy, Puffy, Buffy, I know a lot of kids don't know what those are, but those are actually phone booths. Before everybody had a cell phone, they would have pay phones. You would go and you would drop your money and you could pick up the phone and call somebody, and it would cost different amount of money depending on how far away the call was. I don't really get it, Mrs. Byer. Well, don't worry about it, Fluffy, Puffy, but just trust me, Puppy, those are phone booths. And then what do you see in the last picture? There's two girls on the trampoline. I like to play on the trampoline. Yeah, and Fluffy Puffy, it says, if you have two of something, you have a pair. If you have two girls, two horses, two boots, two phones, two girls, they call it a pair. So can you say there's a pair of horses, a pair of boots, etc.? Okay, Mrs. Byer, there's a pair of horses, a pair of boots, a pair of phones, and a pair of girls on the trampoline. Oh, good job, Fluffy Puffy. You are such a good reader. This says, a couple also means two, such as a couple of fire trucks. Second and double are other words for two. If you are second in line, you come after the first person. So that boy would be second, or girl would be the second person in line. And we also said that a couple of fire trucks. The prefix by means two. A bicycle is a bike with two wheels. The prefix tri means three. A triangle is a shape with three sides. A tricycle is a bike with three wheels. Can you count the wheels on the bicycles, Fluffy Puffy? Okay, Mrs. Byer. So we're going to start over here on the left. This bicycle has 1, 2. The bicycle has two wheels. Very good, because the prefix by means two. Bicycle, two wheels. 1, 2. Bicycle. Good job, Fluffy Puffy. Can you count the wheels on this bicycle? Oh, 1, 2, 3. I made a mistake, didn't I, Fluffy Puffy? That's a tricycle. It has 3 wheels. You can count in 3. Good counting. 3. Tri means 3. Tricycle. Triangle. Tri means 3. Triple and third are other words meaning 3. This third grader is eating a triple scoop ice cream cone. Can you count the scoops, Fluffy Puffy? 1, 2, 3. She has 3 scoops of ice cream. I would like some ice cream. I know it's hot out, isn't it, this morning? If you have several hats, you have more than 2 or more than 3. Can you count how many hats? I'm not sure we can see all the hats. Let's see. Ready, Fluffy Puffy? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I see 7. Oh, good counting. I don't know. There's a lot of hats back in there, but as long as it's more than 2 or 3, we're going to say several hats. Some gardens only have a small number of flowers. They have a few flowers. And see, there's lots of plants, but there's only a few flowers. Small number. Some gardens have a large number of flowers. They have many flowers. So there's lots of flowers in that picture, like our garden. Some games have odd number of friends. Some games have an even number of friends. Can you count the friends, Fluffy Puffy? Do you know the difference between odd and even? I don't know if we're going to learn that in this book. I'm not sure, Mrs. Byer. My brother's kind of odd sometimes. Is your brother odd sometimes? Okay, well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 boys and girls, Mrs. Byer. Is 7 an odd number? You know, 7 is an odd number, Fluffy. Good thinking. Ready? Going to count the boys and girls in this picture? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do I count the chicken? No, I think we're just going to count the boys and girls. Okay, let me see. let me count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6, Mrs. Byer. Yes, there's 6 boys and girls. Is 6 an even number? Yes, 6 is an even number. Aren't you smart? So we have odd friends, an even number of friends. A half a dozen is 6. Half dozen is in between or in the middle of a dozen or 12. A dozen is 12. A dozen is 12. Can you count the 12 eggs? Okay. What about that page? Okay. Well, we could do that page too, I guess. So we're counting half a dozen over here. Half dozen, which is 6. So let's see. Are there 6 balloons? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, there's 6 balloons, Mrs. Byer. Okay, well, 6 balloons is a half a dozen. Can you say 6 balloons makes a half a dozen, Fluffy Puffy? 6 balloons makes a half dozen. Good work. Okay, what's in the next picture? There's eggs. It looks like the chicken laid 6 eggs. A half dozen eggs. And how many sheep are in the picture? Let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a half dozen sheep in the picture, Mrs. Byer. There's 6. Okay, you want to count the eggs now? Okay. A dozen. Look, that's like a whole container. The thing is full. There is a full container. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 eggs. Is that why when my mom buys eggs, she gets a dozen eggs? That's right, puppy. They sell eggs by the dozen. There's usually 12 eggs in a carton. They call it a carton eggs, a dozen eggs. And what's left, puppy? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 donuts, Mrs. Byer. Can I have a donut? Can I have a donut? Well, they sure look good enough to eat, don't they, puppy? But I don't know if we have any donuts at the house. So a dozen eggs, a dozen donuts, half a dozen sheep, half a dozen balloons, half a dozen eggs. Half a dozen is 6. A dozen is 12. A baker's dozen is 13, and that's sometimes they give you 13. Can you find the pear? What do they mean, can you find the pear? Do you know? Oh, I know, Mrs. Byer. I know. There's 2 red ones. There's a pair of red corn chips, or what are those things called? Cheetos? Corn puffs? Yep, that's right. Oh, and look, the girl found the pear. Which one is the unicycle? Do you know which one's the unicycle, puppy? Yeah, Mrs. Byer, the girl with the one thing. And then this one's called a bicycle, and the little boy's on a tricycle. You are so smart, Fluffy Buffy. Oh, look, you got it right. Who's first in line? The little girl in the front is first in line, Mrs. Byer. Yeah, it doesn't look so bad. She looks happy, doesn't she? She's first in line. Is this an odd or even number of friends? Fluffy Buffy, can you count? 1, 2, 3. There's 3 boys and girls. How many is that? Is that even or odd, Mrs. Byer? 3 is an odd number, Fluffy Buffy. Odd. Is the juggler juggling a dozen or a half dozen rings? Let's count, Mrs. Byer. Can I count? Sure. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 was. It's not a dozen. What was that other word? That one with it? A half dozen, Fluffy Puffy. 6 makes half a dozen, like a half of an apple. Half dozen. 1 and 1 make 2. That's just the right number. That's the end of the book. Okay, so our authentic learning challenge today, boys and girls, is for you to go out and take pictures of things that are a pair, of things that are a dozen. Go out and find us things that are either 2 in a pair or 12 in a dozen. And for a bonus, you could do a half a dozen. Bye.